Oh my gosh, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been
Love
a
you,
long 17 minutes. We had the worst technical connection, and then I had to call my friend
Daisy. Yes, ma'am.
to get us together. So, love, kisses, hugs, all the things to Donzetta Queese. We love you.
The Dancetta quiz.
Right.
Yes.
We're nothing without you.
Well, I love y'all, ladies. Have a blast. You're going to kill it. Give us
Yes,
some good info.
ma'am.
I love y'all. I'm just going to turn the camera off and I'm not going to end anything.
Okay.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. It's something we got to work out.
Okay. Love y'all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Sharing the live now for all my supporters.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's us.
You're gonna have to mute because I think it's a lag.
Okay. Let's see what I got going on. Okay, yeah. I'll just close it out. So yes, thank you for having me, Miss Teals.
Yes, yes, yes. So, now that I guess we're somewhat back in our normal capacity, we would like to welcome our guest speaker today. We have Kokila, the original Bowlegs Robertson.
You know it. Okay.
So Kokila and I go back. When did we meet, Kokila? Middle
I
school?
know we used to run track. We was on the relay.
Probably. Yep, yep, yeah. We did used to run track. Grover C?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And so then we kind of hung with some of the same crowd or whatnot. Never knew like she lived in Craven Terrace until we, I guess, started running track. Then I was living on the avenue, I think.
Yep.
Um, but nevertheless, Kokila's been a great person.
Aw.
She sent us a little bit of her background. So you're originally like always so Havelock and then to New Bern, but always 252.
That's right. I say I'm native, like people get into race and all that stuff, but most of my family is from North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, grew up here. The only time I left was for college. I mean, I traveled, but I moved my first time outside of this eastern area was in college.
Um. Oh, okay. Okay. And so you went. That took you to Greensboro.
Yes, the
Okay. Nice. Nice.
Greensboro.
So
Mhm.
how did you like that? What? How was it like it? Like being away from New Bern?
Well, like I said, I traveled a lot with family growing up, so I didn't want to go to a big city or to a different state for school because I had a lot of friends that were going to Greensboro. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of my classmates went to A&T,
Mm-hmm.
but I did want to be more disciplined, and I went to UNCG. Um, my
Oh.
roommate was Yeah, my roommate was actually my best friend growing up, Clevette. So that was a good experience. I didn't have a lot of trauma or fear with moving and meeting a new, roommate. So I loved it. I still love Greensboro, and I actually just got back into school. So I'm actually now taking classes back with UNCG to finish my bachelor's. So I didn't finish. At that time, I moved to Raleigh and wanted to work. And
Mm-hmm.
so now I do want to have my degree because my daughter is creeping up on me. She's now 15.
Ooh.
Yes.
Well,
So
well, congratulations there. I know
thank you.
sometimes just, like, of course, naturally everything starts with the step, but the fact that you were able to at least get yourself back into that mindset because school, work, parenting, all the three, like that's a lot. And then let alone just being a woman.
Yep.
That's that's a lot. So congratulations to you.
Thank
Um,
you.
so you're kind of going through the channels a little bit about, your upbringing and things like that.
Mhm.
Share a little bit more with us. So you left Greensboro, you went to Raleigh, and how was
Mhm.
that?
Raleigh was Greensboro kind of has a small town feel too, which Raleigh does too. Like I only say in North Carolina we have one city, and that's Charlotte. So pretty much everywhere else you're gonna get a more hospitable experience than a city, really. So with
Mm-hmm.
Raleigh, it was a little more fast paced. The job market was booming, so I got into work really easy. Met a lot of friends, had tons of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love Raleigh. Currently, I'm back home in the Eastern North Carolina area, but I am looking to be back in Raleigh soon because it is blooming, it's growing. I like a city feel. I like to have multiple things to do. I like to have options. I like to
Yeah.
be around like-minded people who are interested
Mm-hmm.
in growth. So with Raleigh, you get all of that. You get, enough scenery where you can still enjoy a park. You can still, be mingling with corporate as far as business ideas, and it's a very growing, it's rapidly growing now with the technology that they have
Mm-hmm.
there. So yeah, I love it.
Okay, okay. Well, maybe we'll get there together around the same time. Rather, we're
Okay.
looking to build there. So where we are right now is the Outer Banks, the Greater Outer Banks, Greater Hampton Roads.
Okay.
So we're in North Carolina, but we're that close to Virginia. So like I
Hmm.
go get my nails done, shopping, all that good jazz in Virginia. My husband works in Virginia, and
Hmm.
then we just kind of sleep in North Carolina, and the kids go to school naturally. But we figured once Jasmine finished high school, which she's an 11th grader this year,
Oh,
uh,
really?
she finished high school, yep, 16,
Hmm.
and of course knows everything and don't know a thing.
Go, mommy.
Um, but once she finishes high school, then we'll be looking to go to move to the right area. So we've been looking at land and looking at houses and stuff like that. So we're more so focused on the Garner area.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a lot there, and then plus like a lot of like when you talk about that homey feel, like we could most definitely go there and have a mini class reunion. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
there's so many of us there, but it's like every time I go there, I feel like I see somebody different.
Hmm.
One of my best friends lived there, so Tiffany Fonville, me and her became like best
Okay.
friends. She's there, she's in Clayton, and then
Hmm.
Helena is Mebane,
Hmm.
whatever. You remember Helena?
Yep.
Yeah, she's in
I haven't
Mebane.
seen Helena in forever. I used to love Helena. She was in, one of my classes, but she was
Mm-hmm.
always so chill and,
Still the
always on
same.
her stuff.
Still the
Yes.
same. Helena's doing great things. She's a doctor,
Yep.
whatever of education. So she's a principal at one of the schools in Wake County. I can't remember exactly,
Okay.
but I know, right? I know, but yeah, she and I was just talking last night,
Hmm.
whatever about these ugly braids I have in my head.
Don't do that. Look, you see how I came. I
Girl.
said I'm just gonna slick it back. I ain't even gonna worry about it.
That's why I got this top knot, girl. I got them done Friday, but I don't like
Really?
them. And so
Really?
I don't like it. But I
Oh.
mean, like I feel like they look good with this knot. When I take them down, they don't look good.
Okay.
But so we was just on together last night. But anyways, back to Raleigh. But Raleigh is it's so many of us there, but it's like almost to a point where you could actually be in Raleigh and
Hmm.
not know anyone, but then know everyone. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I think just our big like Helena's sister lives there. Our biggest
Hmm.
challenge is finding an area that we feel like we're going to benefit from as far as education because we have an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
So just yeah, and then diversity. Like we want to go somewhere that he sees more people that resemble me, himself,
Hmm.
his
Hmm.
dad,
Hmm.
and it's just the numbers aren't where they need to be out here. Um, so well in North Carolina rather not Virginia. But yeah, so like yeah, Raleigh's cool. So now you're back in school and
Hmm.
you're working,
Yes.
you're
So
mothering.
I am. I'm working from home. I have like a contract with a biologic company right now. And so being that I am a mother and I've been transitioning a lot since
Mm-hmm.
I guess I left my job at Blue Cross. It's been a lot of contract work. So I do like to have flexibility so that I can be there for my kids when needed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as far as um, I guess location, I feel like you can, and in this age with the technology, you can still find employment, even though it may not be in your local area, but utilizing other resources. So
Yeah. No, 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 for
mhm.
sure. Well, that's good. And so then we have, so you're mothering, you're working, you're back to school. So I mean that's a lot going on. Again, kudos to you for there. Bear with me just a second so I can give you my undivided attention.
No worries.
Um, Trying to make sure everybody's good with Facebook too. Did you get it shared on yours?
I think I did share it. I was trying to send some text to a couple people
Okay,
just to
yeah.
make sure that
Yeah,
we get some
absolutely.
engagement.
Yes, yes, yes. So thank you everybody from watching from. It looks like we have viewers from Facebook. Do know that we are live on our YouTube channel as well, K.R.E. Kinky Roots Evolved. And Facebook. So yes, thank you. So our topic today, finding freedom
Sorry. Hmm.
through faith and forgiveness.
Ooh, yes.
So what is that when you hear that? What makes you go, "Oh, yes."
Because I'm big on energy. And
Okay.
so I noticed, being that I speak with people a lot, I do like customer
Mhm.
service. I noticed that the energy doesn't necessarily match what they're actually saying, as far as words.
Mhm.
And so once I give people the freedom to, get that energy out, then they can kind of
Mhm.
hear themselves in
Mhm.
order to be able to listen. Because a lot of times I find that people are trapped in their own perspective, their own point of
Mhm.
view. They lack empathy as far as, thinking that this only happens to me, woe is me, instead of seeing
Yes,
it as
yes.
a opportunity to either learn something about yourself that may have put you in this situation, or
Mhm.
also learn something that could help the next person so they don't experience that. And so that's how I kind of go throughout my day.
Yeah.
I don't want to be. I don't like to be a statistic to anybody.
Mhm.
I want people to be open when they meet me, to allow me to give them my experience versus what everybody else that may have my skin color, may have my, whatever demographic it may be, that gives them a perception of me, but allow me to be able to give you my engagement. It's not,
Right.
everyone's not the same. So you have to be free enough from your own bondage to be able to engage. And I think that that's just a starting point.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So for me, I think like I think you hit on some good points. I think more so when it comes to that financial haha that faith and the freedom through
Mhm.
faith and forgiveness. For me, it's just more so of okay, it's just
Okay.
more so of like I heard something I'm like, wait, what's happening? um, just like so to be free,
Mhm.
um, boundaries, like
Mhm.
so let's going back to that. So somebody you love, somebody that's close to you, or someone that you don't know. When it comes to boundaries, how are you instilling those?
With me, with setting boundaries, I have to, first of all, consider how to communicate with the person. Some people are visual learners.
Mm-hmm.
You may tell somebody this is my boundary, but until you actually show them, then they may not adhere, or they may not understand that this is a real boundary. Like, this is a line that we're not going to cross.
Yeah.
So it could be different for different people, but definitely with voicing what it is that you want to see, I think that helps actually receive that.
Right. Okay. And so like
Mhm.
when so you got your boundaries instilled, how does I always struggle with trying to find the right words. How does like how do you like continue to move forward? Because like boundaries essentially make people uncomfortable, right? When somebody
Right.
is so used to you doing something, and then you realize
Mhm.
like I've been trapped in this hellhole, right?
Mhm.
Something that I've just
Yeah.
been just yes, being a yes girl. for so
Mm-hmm.
long, and then you wake up, you have that epiphany, you have that light bulb moment or whatever, and so like you decide, like, you make a decision because deep down you've been uncomfortable with this for a very, very, very long time, and then you decide, you know what,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do this anymore. So you say no. Now you're uncomfortable. It's awkward. How do you
Mm-hmm.
continue to enforce that to promote happiness within oneself? And then how do you say, um, like, I love you, however, I love
Mm-hmm.
you, but and they say, what you say before but negates, but it's almost necessary. Like, I love you, but this can't continue.
Yeah, I agree that there has to be a trade-off. So, just like with a child, when you're disciplining a child, and let's say they're walking now and they want to go and grab the stove or grab the TV,
Mm-hmm.
like eventually or let's say going up and down the stairs, they want to go up and down the stairs. Eventually, they have to stumble a couple times in order to know that, hey, this is not good for me. There's a reason this boundary is in place. So even as in relationships, so let's just say an example, a boundary, and just off the top of my head to say, you're dating someone new, and you set a boundary during the weekday. Don't call me after 10 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
or don't text me after 10 o'clock, or as far as being able to hold that boundary. If someone doesn't abide and they break that boundary, you can't answer the phone and be like, oh, everything's okay. No, you have to say, listen, I'm not answering the phone no more. Don't call me, and let that be that. So you do have to kind of reinforce that more than one
Mm-hmm.
time, so that they can understand that this is a non-negotiable. This is what the boundary is, and they have to see repercussions. So
Mm-hmm.
you wanted to talk to me, I gave you my boundaries, and now you can't talk to me.
Mm-hmm. No, and I
As
and
an
I like
example.
that non-negotiable. That's one of Donzi's words. You hear me? Like,
Hmm.
she stands on those things. And to a point
Right.
where it's become one of my words. Like, nope, that's a non-negotiable. Not dealing with it. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so, like, but also with boundary, do you feel like there's different levels to them? Like, when you have to decide
Yes.
between family and friends, so you have a 10:30 or 10 o'clock. I'm not accepting
Hmm.
calls after that. Who is there?
Hmm.
Levels to this when it comes to, well, I'm just dating you, but I'm gonna take a call at 10:30 from my brother, from my sister. You know, like,
Hmm.
what is, like, how do you differentiate with that?
Yes, there are levels. So I would say that, as long as you are goal oriented and you realize that maybe this is a one off, this is, because there's a difference with someone testing your boundaries and then someone just checking in with you or to make you aware of something. So it could be an
Mm-hmm.
emergency that you needed to call me, and I'm the only person. You could be on a bridge and you need somebody to talk you off that ledge. So I can understand one
Mm-hmm.
offs, but it has to be serious. And then as far as family, there are different levels of access that you would allow,
Mm-hmm.
let's say for your child versus let's say your brother
Mm-hmm.
or someone like that. So there are levels, but as long as you are focused on your goals and you keep that in mind with your boundaries, I think it'll better help you be able to, have the backbone to say this is what it is.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
Mhm.
I think for me, when it comes to boundaries, like, when it, like, just for instance, like, we'll say time. My phone shuts off at
Mhm.
8:14. My cell phone, it shuts off
Mhm.
for everybody. There's probably maybe seven people that are favorites that can get through after 8:14. And why 8:14? I don't know. I have no idea. But it tells me at 8:14 you need to start getting ready for bed. So I'm just like, well, in order for
Yep.
me to start getting ready for bed, because I'm trying to be in bed by 9 o'clock. I have my little one in the bed by 8:30. No later than eight
Mhm.
thirty, at the latest 9, right? Um, but
Right.
in order for me to be mentally ready for bed, I can't have things that are stimulating me, get my, like, getting me active or whatever. things where I'm
Yep.
just like, oh, I'm ready for this when I should be getting ready for bed. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, and for the most part, those people aren't really calling me at 8:14. So I'm just kind of like, well, and then text messages, not, but I will now, here I
Mm-hmm.
am, the pot calling the kettle black. I'll text somebody, be like, hey, you up? Now, if they don't respond, I'm not going to call. Right. So I kind of feel like my
Mm-hmm.
late folks, like Maggie, we were talking, I think 9 o'clock last night. Right. But she's typically
Mm-hmm.
up late or whatever. So like, I know I
Right.
could call her, but for the most part, like with a lot of my boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
they're blanket. One size, one shoe fits all. You know what I'm saying? That's how
Okay.
that's how it works for me though, because then I feel like, and more so because I feel like I like to use the kitchen table. My kitchen table is for, I think, dire connected people, but for people that I'm connected to, I feel like I'm connected to a good many of people, right? And it would
Right.
just, I think I would struggle with trying to figure out, I have this boundary for you versus I have this
Mm-hmm.
boundary for someone else. So it's just kind of like across the board. You know what I'm saying? But like every
Yeah.
once in a while, you might be like, okay, we'll break this rule or whatever. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Um,
Right.
but yeah, I thought that was kind of, like I think everybody's different when it comes to those.
No, that's good that you do have, like a blanket boundary and a list because you have to take care of
Yeah,
you,
true.
most importantly. And so what works for somebody else doesn't mean that, it's bad for
No,
you.
that's
Like, I
fair.
mean, what works for you is for you.
No, that's
Yeah.
fair. And it's crazy because Dodgy and I know one of our first conversations was boundaries, one of our first topics. And then for me,
Hmm.
like I'm just like we're thinking like, well, I was thinking like, what do I want to talk about with Coquila? And I'm like, boundaries just kept coming back. But I feel like this is something like it's almost like finances. You can
Yeah.
always talk about finances. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like it's just something that you can always come back to and just kind of like tweak it just a little bit,
Yeah.
to make it be for you. Um, so I was just like, yeah, let's talk about that because like, and then sometimes I struggle with it, and more so
Hmm.
because people. So like, let's pause, right?
Okay. Get
Um,
into it.
so back in the day,
Uh-huh.
we used to fight,
Hmm.
did we not? We used to
Yeah.
we used to get down, and not each other, guys, not each other. We were in the same gang. And I do air quotes. Okay.
Right.
So, but we're lovers. Like we're lovers, we're mothers, we're all the things. You know what I'm saying? We're all the good things, right?
Right.
But so people had this thing where Tila was a bully.
Hmm.
Now, would you agree, Kokila, that I was a bully?
Nope. I know you don't take no stuff. You ain't
Thank
taking no
you.
mess.
Thank you. So, because I got the better hand in a lot of these altercations, or the
Hmm.
upper hand, I think that's how you say it,
Hmm.
I was considered the bully when in reality, I am a person that responds.
Exactly.
I respond to things. I don't like, so I say all of that to say, when I have to do boundaries, it is so uncomfortable for me because I'm always
Okay.
in this space of wanting to make sure everybody's on the same page, wanting to make sure that I'm not offending you, wanting to
Hmm.
make sure that I'm not hurting your feelings. However, this is what I need to do for myself.
Right.
So I struggle with boundaries so much. And I'm talking about to a point where I will drive myself into the ground trying to please somebody,
Hmm.
and I'm not getting anything out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then when I instill that boundary, it's like, oh, you're being funny. You're not the same.
Mm.
And first of all, I shouldn't be the same. I'm now 40 years old. I
Okay.
shouldn't be the same person I was when I was 16, 15, 14, 25. I should have
Yesterday.
grown. Right. I should have matured. And that part too, like I should have figured out something that I was making mistakes on that I was able to learn from yesterday.
Right.
Just 24 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where, like, with boundaries, like for me, like maybe that's what, like, why it's just so, it's such a big thing for me, but it just kind of kept coming back to me. Like, I just need to reevaluate and retweak my boundaries so I can reinforce them, whatever. But no, like it's crazy. Like I always, so I wanted to paint that picture of my history as a
Mm-hmm.
child,
Mm-hmm.
because people like, and when people say that, even to this day, I still get bothered
Yeah.
knowing that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a bully. I was never a bully. You know what I'm
No.
saying? Like, I was straight A student. I really
Right.
didn't have to fight, but I did. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But
Right.
a lot of times it was me just responding to situations. So even now in the space that I'm in, I'm still so concerned about, I don't want to hurt that person's feelings. Like when I have to, like even with today, I had to tell the lady that braided my hair I didn't
Mm-hmm.
like it. And
Yeah.
then to set up a new appointment for her to fix it,
Mm-hmm.
our schedules weren't lining up anymore. I'd already been there Friday. I really don't want to come back and sit for a whole new appointment. Like I that's the purpose of Friday, last Friday. And
Yes.
then, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, things were like not done correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And it just got to a point where our schedules weren't lining up for the next one. So I was like, do you mind giving me a refund?
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I gave myself a headache
Mm-hmm.
because I was so uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? And I didn't want to leave that conversation feeling like I hurt her.
Yeah.
You understand? So, but it's like I have boundaries. Like, no, you pay for a service. You really did get what you wanted. So you got to stand up for yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like, the only way you stand up for yourself and this doesn't happen again. Well, the only way you make sure this doesn't happen again is by standing up for yourself. So, girl, it was just crazy. Like, it's just crazy. But I struggle with them. Like, I preach about boundaries all the time, but I do struggle with them.
Yeah, I mean, I do the same because, like I said, I don't know, I'm a people pleaser as well. And like you know, I grew up with a community around me where everyone was kind of had a place or helped out in some aspect. And now where we are in society, everyone is more for self. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
see like the neighborhood that I grew up in looks nothing like it used
No,
to.
ma'am.
As far as the kids coming up doing the things that we did, hopscotch, you know, candy lady, things like that, like it's few and far between with a lot of neighborhoods. And so with me, I have to put boundaries on things because I'm very lenient. I like to give people grace. You know, like I said, like
Mm-hmm.
I want you to get all that out. Go ahead so we can handle what the real issue is. You know, so I find myself giving people too many chances. Like
Yeah.
I've had, you know, people take advantage of me in monetary form thinking that, you know, that's going to hurt me, but really what it showed me was that, you know, I have principles and values that ascend money. You know, like money is
Mm-hmm.
not my end all be all. You know, I can do a lot of things with $0. Like, and so some people
Right.
have to have money, you know, and so they kind of rob, cheat, steal, you know, to kind of look like they have money or to put on this persona because they lack personality. They don't know how to build relationships. And once you kind of, you know, understand that everybody's boundaries are different and things like that, it does kind of make you guard yourself a little differently so that you don't run into those situations. And so it's a learning curve. I'm always learning, you know, like maybe you shouldn't have done that, Kokila. You know, like forgiving people, forgive and forget. Maybe they didn't need your forgiveness. You know, like maybe you should have stood on that and learned from that. And so I have.
Right. And so, it's so odd that you bring up forgiveness because granted, that's, our title for today. But, and a lot of times it's forgiveness for you,
Yeah,
right? So I could
yeah.
be at peace for it, but I almost feel like me forgiving you is almost like giving you a little bit of leverage to kind of come back into my space.
Mm-hmm.
So like when certain people apologize to me, I don't accept it, and I let them know I'm not accepting your apology right now. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Because you've done X, Y, Z, and so this is also, I feel like this is a boundary that I'm instilling
Mm-hmm.
to protect my feelings.
Yeah, because people don't really like growing up. I used to never say I'm sorry. I teach my children to not say you're sorry. if you do something, you do want to acknowledge what you've done, and you
Mm-hmm.
can ask the person, you can apologize. But
Mm-hmm.
apologizing doesn't mean that you're sorry for what you've done, because if you're sorry, then you're not going to learn from it. So, like you said, some people have to
See that?
learn that what they did was unacceptable,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you got to take your energy back to let them know that was unacceptable, because now I see how you act, and that's not the behavior that I want to have around me. So, yeah, it is a kind of give and take with the forgiveness. But what I find is that if I don't forgive, then I harbor hate that builds up to kind of hate. And hate is a strong emotion because it's right there with love. So I can't be in an emotion of love or accepting love, or, in a space where the things that I want to attract come to me if I'm focused on hating someone, or if I'm focused on, oh, you did this to me and now I feel some kind of way about it. I do want to address my emotions and be aware of my emotions, but at the same time, I feel like forgiveness is for you because it allows you to open up yourself to attract the things that you want and not focus on the negative.
Right. Um, when you say hate, do you feel like that's a place that somebody can stay in towards someone else?
Very much. Just like love, it's an emotion. So as far as, and like,
But think about it.
mhm,
So, and I'm sorry,
mhm,
but just think about, and maybe this is my interpretation of it, but just think about the effort
mhm,
of hating someone.
mhm,
Do you have the mental capacity, the physical capacity, the emotional capacity? Like, to me, that is a lot of energy.
mhm.
Do we possess that as humans to stay in that space? So that if we had to put a gear on it, 1 through 6, this is sixth gear.
Whew.
That's like
So
asking for a heart attack.
no, exactly. So, and this is what I find when I talk to people, because like I said, I speak to at least 30, 50 people a day. So
Whoa.
what I find is that the thing that they hate is not actually what they're giving their energy to, because that's what I mean by you can't hold on to that. I'm not going to forgive you, because what happens is now you have all this extra baggage. So sometimes it comes from lack of self love. Like if I love myself, I got to give myself grace. I got to give myself the chance to make mistakes. I got to give myself the chance to learn. And so everything that everybody, let's say, has done or that has happened in my life is not
Mm-hmm.
a tool for me to harbor on with negativity. It's a stepping stone for me to address my place, the who, what, when, where, and how, and to access that to benefit me so that I can move on. So a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times, like, people wake up in the morning and you're watching news, like you're getting all these images and it's feeding you on all these emotions. And like you might not know why you don't like your coworker, or why every time you see someone, they give you a bad feeling or a bad vibe. But you have to sometimes assess yourself, like, am I in a good place with me? Like, why do I give this person as much of my energy, to make me feel bad?
Mm.
When you keep that smile on your face and you're unfazed, that bothers them more.
True.
Because they came after you, or they wanted to be connected to you for a reason. So you got to understand that you attracted them because of who you are. And that's a beautiful thing, as long as you are handling the situations or getting the information that you need to get from that situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. I think that assessment is true. I So, dude, thank you for expanding on that. Where you go?
Are
Oh,
people calling my phone? Hello? Am I there?
no, I hear you.
How you
I
gonna
think you
call me in the
suck.
middle? Hello? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Where did I
So, no, it's
go?
okay. So, I am experiencing crazy weather right now, guys. So, in the event
I'm
that
sorry.
things
Hello?
disconnect,
Oh, y'all can hear
um,
me. I can't hear you, Tila.
oh boy, the weather is bad here too, like really bad. Like it's lightning and raining really hard. I think we might have lost Coquila, y'all.
Tila.
I hear you.
I don't know. I got a call.
You're still in here. Oh no. We lost Coquila, guys. All right, let me give her a second to try and come back in.
Hey,
All right, she's back.
I'm so sorry. I should have put my phone on do not. Well, my iPad. I'm on my iPad, and the FaceTime call
Okay.
knocked everything off. So yeah, I'm sorry. What were you saying, friend?
That I was saying, I'm glad that you expanded on that. And then I kept remembering when you said the candy lady. I think I'm gonna be the neighborhood candy lady while we still live here.
They need some
No, for
community, you
real.
know?
Like I thought about. I was telling my husband, like, we really should sell freeze cups. These kids don't even know what they are. Like for real, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we could th- a quarter. I really would just
Hmm.
do a quarter. You know what I'm
Put a
saying?
little orange slice in there. You know, you might be in the area. They don't even might not do the dye and the sugar and stuff. So
Girl, them kids would be okay. They will be okay. But I was saying here, um, that the weather is like really, really bad here. Like it's lightning.
oh, okay.
I think that was a thunder. It's raining like horrifically, whatever. So in the event that we do get
Hmm.
disconnected, that is
Okay.
why for me. But then I was looking at your background, I'm like, yo, that pool looks so nice.
It would be nice. It would be.
Uh, so when it comes to how do you feel about appreciation? So just appreciation for you as being a mother,
Mhm.
appreciation like all around, all the hats and roles that you take on. Do you feel like you are getting enough of that? Or do you feel like you're in a space where you're definitely overdue for some of it?
I'm a Gemini, so I
Wait, when
kind
is
of
your
appreciate
birthday?
myself. June 16th.
Okay.
So if I need a day, if I need a break, if I need 5 minutes, I'm going to take it, you know? So as far as my children, showing me appreciation, my children excel any of my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're both on the principal list. My daughter's in band. She does extracurricular activities. They're well
Mm-hmm.
mannered. They don't, cuss and fuss
In
and
front of you.
they kind of get out of hand. Well, and that's what matters because I know I used to cut up. You see, that's what I be telling them. Like, don't get it
Wait till
twisted,
they meet Miss
But as long
Tila.
as you
I'm about to
are,
divulge all of it. All secrets.
I don't know if my daughter up here right now, but like as far as family and things like that, I've always been kind of I've never been the black sheep, so to speak, but like my grandmother always adored me. Um, my family always made sure that I had everything that I needed.
Oh, that's
So
dope.
I feel very appreciated.
That's the I can't relate.
Tell them why.
I,
Tell them what you need,
I
friend.
can't relate. I can't relate. Well, at least not in my house. Yeah, because I
Okay.
kind of bounce around a lot. When we moved a
Hmm.
lot, I bounced around a lot, and I was between both my mom and my aunt, and then I lived with my sister for a little
Hmm.
bit. So, and I can't really tell you the actual. Well, for me, I feel like I know my perception,
Hmm.
but the reason why all of it, transpired, can't really
Hmm.
say I know from my mom's perspective. I just know my aunt was there as a vessel. or a
Mm-hmm.
bridge to kind of alleviate some of that responsibility for her, for me, or for her, and for me. Um, so, but yeah, so I can't say that. And I've always, sometimes I still feel like the black sheep, even though I'm doing very well for myself. I still
Yeah.
feel like that. I still feel like the outcast. I still feel like, I remember telling my cousin, I was like, man, y'all wouldn't miss me if I was gone. You know what I mean? And like, I get so homesick, but not like that. Like in a space, like I've been away from family
Okay.
since I was 18. And,
Right.
and now like we're getting closer and closer or whatever. And in some instances I used to feel left out. I used to feel like
Mm-hmm.
but it was like I felt left out, but it was like, oh, that makes sense. Like I'm the black sheep anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
so yeah, like I just like, and that's sometimes I still would deal with it, but I tend to try and get closer to home. But I've essentially like made my own family. Like my friends, the girls that sit at my kitchen table, they're my sisters.
Mm-hmm.
They're my
Yeah.
sisters. Like I couldn't have asked for a better group of girls that are not blood related. Like blood couldn't make us
Mm-hmm.
any closer, you
Right.
know. Um and so, and I have a couple of guys at that table too. But yeah, like that's where I'm at with it. But that's fortunate
I
because
mean, it's.
for us, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
for us to be black women, I feel like my story is very common. So I love to
Mm-hmm.
hear a positive spin on that.
Mm-hmm.
Something that you've shared, like, no, I wasn't that. Like the love was there. And it, like for something, I think for me, that's what I try to give to my children. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm gonna make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do to the best of my ability. For you
Mm-hmm.
to execute, that's on you though. I'm gonna give you the tools to succeed. You just have to use them,
Yeah.
you know. But you're gonna know that you're loved,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah, and
know.
I think that, I could harp on the negatives. I definitely
Mm-hmm.
went through trials. Like you said, I live with my aunt, elementary school. Then I went back with my mom in like middle school. But in order to graduate high school, I moved back in with my aunt because it was a more stable environment.
Mm-hmm.
But I also consider things like, as far as how I perceive love, considering the situation that my mother was raised in, the things
Mm-hmm.
that she saw as a child,
Girl, what's your mama
considering,
nickname?
girl, LB, that's what she called herself. I don't know, she
Yes,
probably
or
not,
L Boogie.
yes, L Boogie. She don't miss a beat. Every time I go somewhere in New Bern, people are telling me, "What's your mama name? What's your mama name?" I'm like, you know my face. Come on, come with it. You know.
Right, 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 right.
But to get back on topic, it's just
Hmm.
that as Black people, we have a lot of passed down trauma.
No, for sure.
We have, a lot of things that I don't know if they'll ever be addressed. Like, as far as why we do some of the things we do or act the way that we act, because it's,
Talisha said you're a twin.
it's Cece one of them too. So, like, I give that grace to my grandmother and, dealing with my mother growing up. I don't think that it was a case where it wasn't love. And I think that with fairy tales in America, we have like this princess idea of love, like, oh, you had to live in a castle and all this stuff. No, you can love somebody and be going through a struggle, but at the same time, her sacrificing, let's say, my mother was 19 when she had me. If I would have got pregnant at 19, I don't know what I
When
would have
she
done.
had you,
When she had me, she was
girl,
19.
you was the baby.
Well, I'm 4 years older, younger than my sister. And I have a brother who's nine
You do
years
have
younger
a
than
younger
me.
brother. Yes, yes, yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Hmm.
But like I like I guess I looked at it because I forgot about your little brother.
Hmm.
But you have an older sister, so to be 19 with you, and then you have an older sister.
Two kids, right?
Wow.
Right. So, that comes with its own perplexities, like, it's not,
Mm-hmm.
everything's not going to be simple, like, she went to night school to be a nurse while I was, growing up, and my sister kind of had to watch me sometimes. But I don't look at that as a negative on my mother or my father, because it allowed me to grow into an independent woman. Like
Mm-hmm.
some parents are overbearing, and they provide everything for their kids. They don't let their kids think for themselves. They don't let them trip and fall, or just experience life. And
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of those kids who grow up in the household thinking that they're getting all the love, kind of get in the real world, and they don't know how to
Oh, they're most
manage.
definitely not prepared. Like our future, we're doomed.
Mhm.
We are,
Mhm.
what's crazy is like we're doomed because of us, because
Mhm.
we are working so hard to give them everything that we didn't have, that
Mhm.
we're missing the
Right. Right.
foundation of letting them know the value of a dollar, letting them know,
Yes.
principle,
Yes.
um, letting them earn things. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
Jasmine, I remember she got her driver's license, and cars are all fancy now. We
Mhm.
were in no rush to get our license and stuff when we were that age.
Mhm.
But the cars got all the cameras and the whistles and the bells and the dings when you get too close to the curb. And so she
Yeah.
was driving, and girl, she was about to turn into a car. Like the car is screaming at her like you're too close, and she didn't see the car, and she literally was about to hit this car. But the fact that she went off on us, that she had to have her permit, the
Mhm.
driver's teacher felt that she was a good fit. I said, well, yeah, when he's telling you to turn left, I said,
Mhm.
how many do I get in a car and somebody's telling me to slow down, to stop,
Mhm.
to be careful because there's a car beside you, or
Mhm.
nobody's telling me this stuff. This is
Mhm.
stuff that you need to know. So no, you're not
Awareness.
ready. Yes,
Yep.
you're not ready. And then like when it comes to just making, like, again, you have the tools. And I tell her all the time, it's like you strike me as a follower, which is sad. Like you are the one of those people that if somebody goes to rob a bank, you're gonna do it knowing
Mhm.
that you shouldn't be. You know right from wrong, but you're going to do
Yep.
it because that's the limelight you want. You know what I'm saying? And then you know better. You know you
Mhm.
shouldn't be doing it. Your father's a cop, but you're still going to do it.
Mhm.
And it's like, and people say we shouldn't say that. Your child.
Yeah.
The younger one, oh, he's snitching. And he's not talking in private either. He's gonna say like, "Oh, mom, such and such is about to do this." You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But it's just
Right.
it's so crazy. But yeah, like I felt, yeah, our future is doomed because, but like to go back to a point you made,
Mhm.
when you said that you could harp on the bad stuff and not
Mhm.
necessarily right.
Mhm.
Um, I think that the things that we endured as children, they most definitely made us who we
Mhm.
are today. But to not discount or have anyone feel like some of the trials and tribulations that we went through as children were unnecessary,
Mhm.
because some of us are still walking around with that trauma or that baggage that didn't have to be projected, you know?
I had to grow through. This is my 39-year-old self, and I feel like
Hmm.
9 is a year of completion, because all of the
It starts
things.
over.
Hmm?
It starts over with zero.
Right. That's where I'm seeing now how, as a teenager and as a 20-year-old, how I was, let's say as a teenager, I was mad at my dad, or, talking back to my mom and things like that. And then as an adult, as a mother, now I'm the one responsible for this person. Now I can see kind of the pressures that they were going through, and so it's just come full circle to me that
Hmm.
yes, there is going to be low days and there's going to be high days, but
Hmm.
every day you get up, you got to choose what you're going to take with you. You can't, what I'm saying? I can't go back to 5th grade to that teacher who told me that I won't going to be nothing. Sometimes
Hmm.
that could be a motivating factor for some. And then you put that in
Yeah.
your bag and you can carry that with you. But, like, at some point you do have to be able to realize that we're going on an apex, like we're going
Yeah.
up. It's everything comes to a point, but what are we
Yeah.
going to
I
choose?
think I don't want to, and I don't want you to feel like I was more so like kind of coming at you or for you. Definitely not the case. I just feel like at any point that somebody's watching this and they're still dealing with childhood trauma, like
Mhm.
there you can get help to
Yeah.
help you to navigate that. I
Yeah.
remember talking to
iPad about to die
one of
too.
my friends, huh?
My iPad's about to die.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
you got
sorry.
all the problems.
All the
But
problems.
I remember talking to one of my coworkers, old coworkers, and he was
Hmm.
explaining to me how him and his brother, same mom, same dad, grew up in the same house. Mom and
Hmm.
dad were alcoholics, like stone cold,
Hmm.
and just bad. They end up
Hmm.
like the state got involved. They end up going to live with their grandparents,
Hmm.
and he took a more positive route on never wanting to touch alcohol ever. His brother took the same route as his parents, and that
Right.
just goes to show you that you could be in the same situation and somebody like where
Hmm.
you're expecting like, okay, well, these kids saw it firsthand. Why would they want to do that? People respond completely different to the same situation. Um, but no, so just letting our viewers know, like, we care about you. We're not telling
Yes.
you know, not do because I personally feel like emotions are there for a reason. We need to go through these things. We need to know what it feels like to be at a low,
Hmm.
to be high, to be, in the middle, and to be able to put a name on these things. Um, but we want you to go through the emotions. We just don't want you to get stuck. We don't want you to get in a pit or in a ditch to where you can't get out of it.
Exactly.
Um, but yeah, and a lot of my childhood trauma is why I am the way that I am now. Fabulous.
Exactly. Exactly. I know what I don't want. I know what I'm not going to accept, and so
Girl.
that allows me to move to where I want to be, to be on that
Hmm.
path.
For real. No. All right. Well, we lost Coquila. She said her iPad was dying. She probably didn't have a charger near, or maybe the weather's bad there too. Um, it was fun, guys. I can't really sit here and talk to myself about the things that we were engaging with. Um, let's see if I can get Donzie to hop on for a couple of minutes. Mm. But no, I thank you guys for chiming in, for watching. We appreciate it. Both, it looks like a lot of our viewers were from Facebook. My Alexa told me to let the dogs out, but they're not going to go out in this rain. Turn it off. And oh, I can end it.